Cool. Good, good. Well, thank you for taking the time. So we're about to launch tomorrow, actually. We're going to launch our Carnival virtual campaign. So
Mhm.
it's Carnival Online for the month of May. It's what it's called, and it came about from just the production team checking in every other Monday, right? And after a while, when we really began to miss each other, we're like, "Oh my God! If this is how we feel in April, imagine how we're gonna feel in May." And we thought, well, if we're feeling this way, now I can only imagine how we can only imagine how the comparsas are feeling, how the musicians are feeling, how some of our volunteers that look forward to May and the 2-day weekend are feeling, because we've been accustomed to it for some 42 years, for others, 30 years, 15, and so on and so forth. And we really want to keep that momentum going. We don't know what the future has in store for Carnaval for 2020. Our goal is the fall, but we are all just waiting for what what the governor is going to tell us, and then what the city says, so that they can renew our permit for the fall. That being said, though, we're not just going to sit here and just kind of wait to see what happens. We want to be proactive. We really want to engage everyone to be part of this experience, which is, I think, we want the public to understand a little piece of what Carnaval really is for the family, the comparsas again, the vendors, the volunteers, and the production team. So not only is this a process for us to heal, since our theme this year is Salud es Poder, health is wealth, for us internally, but also for, like, let's say Batala, for the greater group of Batala, right? That are in San Francisco Bay Area, and then for the general public to join us in this celebration, and also to learn from you all. What's the meaning behind Batala? What's the meaning behind certain rhythms, colors, words that you all use? And so we really want to capitalize on this moment that everyone's online and as tuned in as possible, or not, because we get tuned out. But yeah, we just want to have a good time with y'all. We really want to make sure that we're all doing well and we're staying healthy and we're staying balanced.
Sounds good.
So we're gonna go and look over videos of your past performances, whether it be at the parade, at the festival, or a rehearsal, and we're just gonna talk about them. Tell us what went through your head if you were there, or some of the emotions that come from performing, from rehearsing. And we'll just kind of, it's very organic. I didn't even send a list of questions, because I don't want it to be too structured. I also want this to be very, very organic, so that then so let's just start. So I want to bring in, I want to talk about the colors, because I think the colors can tell the story and the history of Batala really well, because the colors stay consistent throughout the years. It's consistent, but always evolving, with the symbols. So I'm looking at, there's always a white, there's always red, and I always see black. And if you want to elaborate on other colors that I may not see often, please do so. But maybe we can start with those colors, and then let's explain Batala. What is Batala?
Maybe I can start by saying what is Batala, and maybe
Sure.
Lou or Fernando would want to chime in about the colors.
Mm.
So Batala, San Francisco, and Batala Mundo is a Brazilian drumming group. We play samba reggae from Bahia, and I think the thing that makes most people fall in love who participate in Batala is this amazing network worldwide, in which you're all playing the same music. And, when there are events, when there will be, but there have been so many events worldwide, and you arrive wherever you are and you're playing the same music with people you cannot communicate with, but you're communicating through music. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So those of us who are part of Batala, I think, find it empowering to play a drum, right? And, having the ability to hit a drum always gives you a very good feeling. And then the community aspect of it, the community locally, the community of the San Francisco Bay Area, and then the worldwide community.
I wanna pause it there and ask Lou or Ahmed or Fernando. You mentioned worldwide, Sonia, and you said you all speak the same language, the rhythms, right? But how do you all learn the same rhythms in 1 year? Can you all tell me about that experience?
Vai, Fernando.
I would like to talk about that since you have been going to some Mondo events.
Yeah, I just think so. So the way that we learn is we learn by, it's like by word of mouth. There is nothing written down on paper. It's all done through videos that are shared with us, and then interpreted through our conductor, through Sonia, and then that information and that knowledge is passed down to the group. So it's very it's not written. There's nothing structured about it, right? It's very passionate. It's very loving. It's a community band. So like that's really what Batala represents to me.
Yeah. In addition to that, if I may say, Ahmed and Rodrigo, is I think the common factor is how the drum calls each one of us in different parts of the world into this one common language of music. You know, we are in different places of the world, but there's one strong thing and one element that draw us to this huge and worldwide web, which is the drum. You know, once you hit and caught by that initial beat that really starts like, you know, with the first signs of life, and then you're part of this community. Doesn't matter if you speak English, Spanish, Czech, or Chinese, and if you're part of Batala, you have a worldwide passport, and you will be able to communicate with everybody with playing drums.
Worldwide passport.
Yes.
Do you want to say something, Lou, or should we press play and see
Right.
this worldwide rhythms?
Yeah, and maybe Lou, you can also comment to the original question about the colors.
Yes.
If you feel comfortable.
Oh yeah. The colors refer to the origins of the rhythm, the music, which all come from Salvador da Bahia and the Candomblé religion. And although you don't have to be religious to be part of this group, we acknowledge that the roots are there. And so the black, white, and red are symbolic of the deity Shango, and his colors are those. And I also think white refers a bit to Oshala, Obatala, and just the power of the drums that we all possess when we're out there playing together.
Beautiful. Let's watch those colors in motion then. I want to start by asking, who's the gentleman in the middle leading in white?
Yes, that is our Mestre Giba Gonçalves. He is the overall musical director. When the group started, he was living in Paris. He was studying in a music conservatory, but he is originally from Salvador. You know, just sort of that casual thing amongst other friends and musicians of like, oh my God, you have all this knowledge about this music. Why don't you teach us? And that, you know, that one fun moment, I'm sure, simple jam session has now grown into 43 different bands around the world. So he still comes, thankfully, to us every year and teaches us music, spends some time with us, just um, making sure that we stay connected to the root and the origins of everything.
And you can tell that that resident or that person just jumped in because he probably cannot stay still on the sidelines while you all are drumming in unison, you know? And that's a rare scene. Honestly, usually we try to prevent folks, but I think he just couldn't contain himself.
Well, the funny thing, the reason that I wanted to show this video is how that exact same thing happens at Notting Hill every year. Notting Hill has a huge carnival in the end of August. And Jiba has become friends, how do I say, dance frenemies, with someone who's very similar to this person who appeared on the video. And they battle off every year. So I thought it was so funny that someone so similar came about last year. Mm-hmm.
And so we're you all are going down 24th Street. Can you tell us about that corner that you all are about to reach on 24th and Mission? How do you all practice, you know, to walk in unison first and foremost down 17 blocks, and then, you know, going from 24th Street to Mission? What is that experience like for you all?
Anyone? No?
Well, it's tough. It's not an easy thing to do, and it takes a lot of practice. So before Carnival, we spend weeks, if not months, outside practicing our turning, our maneuvering, staying in unison, staying in perfect formation. And we know that we have this big right hand turn in the parade, so we make sure to continuously practice that. It takes a lot of work.
And when you say a lot of work, anyone wants to chime in?
I will.
What does that look like? What is a lot of work? Because we say this, you know, we in the artist community involved in Carnaval say it takes a lot of work, but I want people to really understand the depth of that work. What is it?
So I started, my first Carnival was back in 1998. And I was dancing in heels and a bikini. And I will never do that again. But honestly, it is harder to drum this parade than to dance the whole thing in heels.
Why?
So that drum is heavy, and keeping that step the whole way is incredibly physical. I feel like it's a battle, and I gear up for it. I have to get in this mindset, you know, at the start of the day, and then it's like you're gearing up for war, because when you get to like about 18th Street, it's just sheer like willpower that keeps you going. You just want to stop and fall down on the street. And so, man, when we turn that corner after 24th, I love 24th. We turn that corner and it's like, oh my goodness, here we go. And it's just, you have to reach out to the crowd and get their energy to keep going. Yeah. But I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I'd like to share a story about the first Carnival as Batala. We, different Batalas go at different speeds. Some people get started right off the bat and have a ton of people. And some people, you know, get started with a nucleus and then grow. We were sort of that case of like, we had a nucleus of people coming from a different group and like dance community. And then little by little, we started growing. But by the first Carnival, we needed support. And our wonderful Mesri said that we had to bring him. And thankfully, on that occasion, he came, and then like 7, 8 people from the Paris band also came with him. And these are people who
the Paris, meaning Batala in Paris.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And these, you know, the folks that came were people who had a lot of experience, right? They literally, I mean, obviously they were coming for fun and it was great to have them,
Right.
but also like the function of support was very real, right?
Wow.
They were here to help us learn more music in this intense period of time and sort of get us going. So
what year was that? Sorry.
2016.
2016, okay.
Oh, no, sorry. No, 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
I believe 16 was Mundo, but we'll talk about that.
That's why So 2013. So we get to the parade and you know that we are on Bryant, you know, holding. And Jiba gets really excited. It's Carnival. He's trying to get us pumped. We're playing a lot of music.
Uh-oh.
And I'm standing next to the Paris, a couple of Paris ladies who came. And they're like, Sonia, I was wrong. Like every day you've had so much energy and you've been smiles. And today you're just like chill. And I'm like, I know it's early. First of all, I don't do mornings. And second of all, I was like, this is a long day. This is going to be a long parade. I'm telling you, like, I'm just relaxed now so that I can get it later. So we get started, the parade gets started, and they're like going super hard and all the movement. And we're still on 24th.
You mean the staging area?
Yeah. So, but we get started and we're on 24th and they're like going all out. And then we're approaching Mission and I turn over to them and I say, this is still going. And we turn at the corner of 24th and Mission and they looked at me like, oh my God. And I was like, yes. You remember why I was chill before? So that was really funny because I know them to be in a lot of parades. They still participate in Batala. They still do it. And that was sort of the joke that they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. Even though I tried to tell them. But it's always that moment when we're on 24th, you start getting the energy from the crowds and everything. Yeah. And somehow that moment when we turn onto Mission Street always feels massive. And it's not just because of the physical aspect of it, it's somehow like in the mentality, that whole moment where you're like, okay, I'm taking this turn and boom. Something about that always, at least for me, gets me every time we turn onto Mission. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Wow. No, I know that feeling exactly. And my father, because I'm from a family of Aztec dancers, so that's how I was introduced to Carnaval growing up. I was like, Dad, like, how do I keep, that energy going the way I see you doing? It's like, you got to focus on the crowd, you got to create a relationship with the crowd, because through that, you just really get your second win when you feel like, oh my God, no, 24th and Mission is here. It's when you see people respond to your energies that you learn to carry on. What about you, Fernando?
About what?
Just in general, like, how do you keep your energy going? Because you have a lot of energy.
Let's talk about energy because double parading.
Parading.
Why?
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you mean double parading?
Double parading.
Yeah. Regarding getting to 24th, I think it's pretty special, Like Lou said, it's a lot of work, and we learn how to pivoting and walk along as a group, and to make your drum be part of your body, and all of that. But 24th is pretty remarkable. I think everyone who has an experience with Carnival in parades or enjoy as a party goer, there must be a special moment in your route that you're like, oh, I love when we get to this point and grew up in Salvador, I have those memories. And then I think participating actively in Carnival in San Francisco, 24th is definitely one of those special moments.
Robert, let's jump to the second one. Are you there, Robert? So what year is this?
This is 2016, for sure. So this year we were asked to host the yearly Mundo event, which are called Encontros. And they have been around for like 16, 17 years now, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. But anywho, this was 2016 for us.
What does that mean? What is an encontro? Because some people don't know what that word it means first, and what does it entail?
Yeah, so encontro means a meeting. There's no perfect word.
Right.
In English.
A convening.
Yeah, but not just a convening, but like this
a gathering.
This unit gathering, yeah. So we planned for a year for this, maybe a little bit more. We wanted to be excellent hosts. So we had total 120 drummers that year. This is the festival performance on the Saturday, so it was a smaller group. But during the parade, we had 120. And then for that week of leading up to Carnival, we had a boat party. We had like different walking tours for the people who came to join us. Really amazing workshops with everyone. It was crazy to be in such a massive workshop like that and be leading and teaching music in that case. And it was amazing. Just to meet all these folks, just to have them here, to give them this brief window of what the Bay Area is so special for through Carnival. It was great. So all of them, loved going to the festival on Saturday and checking it out. In the day of the parade, right, just seeing all the other comparsas.
How many Batala chapters are there right now?
43?
About 43 Batala chapters in various cities and towns around the world, right?
Yes.
How many came to Carnaval San Francisco in 2016?
Ooh, that's a great question. That's a great question.
Guesstimate.
How many bands? Or how many members?
How many bands?
Bands, sure.
I think we were over 5. We had.
No. There was definitely more than 5. I mean, there were some bands that just came with one person.
Still band.
Yeah, I want to say between 15 and 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Because there's a lot. There's a few bands in the UK, right? In our minds, like they were all from the UK, but there's 3 or 4 different bands in the UK. Wow. Same in France, right? So when they were here, the French people. No, but they're from different bands, and yeah, different people from the US chapters. Yeah. So and it's grown since then. Just between 2016 and to 2020, there must be at least 10 new bands.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. And so what we saw there was a festival performance. Who was from this? Were you there, Lou, Ahmed, Fernando? Were you all at that performance?
I was not.
Ahmed wasn't part of the band yet.
Oh, okay. Lou, were you there?
I've been driving a truck and I've been awake for 36 hours. So at that point, I just said, screw this, I'm out of here. I am done. I have to
She was our designated truck driver, her and her husband, thankfully.
Respect, Lou. Much love and respect. I know the commitment. Understand that commitment.
Yeah.
Let's
Thank
jump
you,
to
Lou.
Yeah, is it okay we jump to the next one?
Certainly.
Yes.
Hit us, Robert.
I'm just gonna interject something here. I didn't think I had it, but I have a video from 2016, which might go nicely, and then we can always remove it. Just a second.
Okay.
This is the big, I guess, Batala's largest ever presentation at Carnival San Francisco. It's only 30 seconds, but let's see what.
I love the fact that we are live, but we don't have to worry because there's gonna be some editing to this.
I know. Siren coming by. Like, oh my
So
Lord.
I can bite on my nails. I can.
Oh wow! What a shot!
That was in Contra too. That was
That's
2016.
24th and Folsom? No, that's Shotwell.
Shotwell.
Woohoo!
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Look at Felix
Yeah. And Dave and Lita.
and Lita,
Yeah.
La Rochelle,
Natalie.
Natalie. Exactly. Thank you.
Are all the drums the same size, or do you have different size drums?
Yeah. So technically there's 4 drums, but we have 5 sections.
Why
So-
is it 4 drums? and
Yeah.
5?
So there's a surdo, which is
Okay.
the family that's the family surdo, which is the lowest, deepest drum, and there's 2 of them with 2 different pitches. And this is actually something on the classic side of samba reggae, to have that low high, what's called marcação, which means the marking of the beat. Some people call it the heartbeat.
The 1 and the 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So there's surdo, and then there's a dobra, which is a very close family member of the surdo. I like to call it the singing low drum. And in Batala specifically, it holds a lot more importance than in other bands that play the same genre. The other instrument is the hepiki, and that's usually what's the forefront in samba reggae because it has all the calls and the long phrases. Usually it's the drum that solos if there's a solo, and then there's a caixa, the snare. So that's what composes the Batala instrumentation. We don't have other instruments that have become synonymous with samba reggae, like the chimbal, which is a tall cylindrical instrument. That is not part of our arrangement. So we just have the 4.
So when you're not directing the band, Sonia, which drum are you playing?
So this is an important thing that I need to mention.
What?
Oh, Rodrigo.
Because on all these videos, I show up playing the instrument that I don't like to play, which is the hepiki. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. As a director, as a conductor, it's good to know all the parts.
Okay.
And because the hepiki has a lot of calls and more difficult parts, I end up playing that to support a lot in different circumstances. Because it is so difficult, we don't have a ton of people who can play those parts, right? That requires more time, more seasoning on the instrument. But what I love to play is the dobra.
Dobro?
Dobra.
Dobra. Okay.
Yeah.
Sonia, you were playing Dobra in one of those videos when Chiba was leading us.
Which
What
one?
about you, Fernando? What do you play?
I started as a surdo, one of the marcanchi drums, surdo 2. That was my long history in the band. And then eventually, with a lot of begging and pushing and convincing, Sonia allowed me to become a dobra.
And Lou?
Dobra.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, both Lou and Sonia and another member that no longer in the band, Tola, were my god fairies on this drum and taught me a lot, and were patient to let me join the line of powerful, fierce women.
And Amit, how about you?
Yeah, so I started off as a Surdu too, and just recently I graduated, and now I'm a Dobra. So I'm barely learning. You know, I'm just starting to spread my feathers a little bit. But yes, I've just joined a powerful line of Dobras, including Lou and.
Great. Hold up. I wanted to bring back the comment that Fernando said that, you know, a lot of his mestres or mestradas, you know, are women at Batala. One thing that I noticed was, especially when I first saw Batala in 2013, is like there were these, you know, fierce women that were leading the drums, and it is a rare sight to see. Personally, from knowing different drumming groups from different cultures, and I thought that was wonderful and beautiful and innovative. Can you tell us about how that came to be and how it's grown?
Yeah, the interesting thing, I guess, to start with is that the first chapter of Batala in the U.S. Started in Washington, D.C. And it's an all-female group. So it's 80 women. Then the second chapter that came was in New York, and it was also all women.
Wow.
So, go ahead.
No. Just want to add to your comment. It's very pertinent. In the very first and only Brazilian chapter, in Brasilia, capital of Brazil, also at that point was all women.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I think it's one of those things, as we know, right? If we see it represented, we feel invited. So that's one thing. And I think also specifically to us, even though we've always been mixed gendered, is that it really started from the dance community, right? A lot of people who came on to start Batala were folks who danced at Brazarch. The first musical director was Abel Damasceno, and as we know, Conceição Damasceno is a pillar, right, of the Brazilian community here. So a lot of people met there, right? And there were a lot of women who were dancing, who were intrigued to play some of the drums, and that eventually turned into what Batala is now. And I think, you know, as it's continued throughout the years, again, it's that thing of like, oh, there's women doing that. Like, I can do that too then. And that's really awesome. I studied music as a child and studied drums, and that was always a thing when I was growing up. So I love that it's not a question with us. And that, you know, as you saw in that video, you know, there are women, men, whatever, lifting those big drums and playing the hell out of them, and everyone feels amazing and feels the energy, and that's the way it should be.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks. I really wanted to highlight that. Anyone want to say something before we jump to the next? Amit?
Yeah, may I just add something?
Sure.
Yeah. So being that I'm the newest member out of the four of
Oh,
us
you're
here,
the
right?
okay, you're the baby.
I'm the baby. I joined 2 years ago. One of the things that I fell in love with when I first saw Batala perform at First Fridays in Oakland was the fact that it was so diverse. There were people of all different ages, all different ethnicities. I mean, this band that we belong to is such a broad community, and we do not discriminate against anybody, which I love. It's like one of the reasons that I joined in the first place. So I just wanted to say that.
Nice.
Good point. Good point, Emmett. Thank you. Lou, you're going to say something.
Fernando, you didn't explain your double carnival.
I was about to like come out of it, feeling. No. What was the question again, Rodrigo? Like,
I don't know where the people are just chiming in about.
Ask him, double.
Oh, the double. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Why do you perform double, or what does that mean?
oh,
Parade?
carnival.
Double parading.
I get it. Well, I'm fortunate enough to be part of two amazing drumming communities, and my musical life, believe it or not, even though I was born and raised in Salvador, Bahia, and be like surrounded by the richness of the culture, and every day just walking direction towards drums playing everywhere. I didn't have a musical initiation in Brazil per se. My musical initiation was here in the US, and I was introduced to music first through a small group at the point that was in the phase of reconstruction that eventually became what it is now, Maracatu Pacifico. And then within a month of that, through a mutual friend, Jess Jones, who was playing Maracatu, she introduced me to what was then the very beginning of Batala. And that was end of the fall of 2012. And then that was, those two groups came to me as a blessing, as a life awakening, and as an inspiration. And I am still member of both groups, going somehow strong, I guess. And Batala has always had a committed relationship with Carnival since its very beginning, 2013. And then right after its beginning on the end of 2012, and then Maracatu, even though was born in late 2012 and then early 2013, 14. It did take a while to join the Carnaval SF, and our strong and biggest event had always been the Dia de los Muertos parade, which is also a nice, very cultural and beautiful event in the mission. But when Maracatu then decided to join Carnival, and Luke can talk about that too, because she's part of both groups as well, I was like, what do I do? And my only hope was always that they were far enough apart in the contingency of floats, of comparsas, that I could join both. And then now for 2 years, I guess, I've been able to join both groups.
Now,
Madness.
I'll make sure they're back to back
Madness.
next time. Then
I have 1 year of rest. Maybe.
Absolute
You're gonna have to be
madness.
dressed half and half if they're really close to each other, so you can drum one and then just slowly go back and drum in the other one.
Yes.
Let's go to the next one. We have about 7 minutes, so we'll
Okay.
talk about the next.
This is really nice. Thank you.
No, this is great. I'm learning so much. This is another performance.
This is 2018.
Deborah.
2018.
Yeah. I really love the Saturday festival performances. It's something making sure that we go to the festival, right? I think some people don't understand that sometimes, that there's the parade, but there's also the festival for Carnival. Because the parade is so intense, and we got to keep moving, right? Some of the more intense songs or choreographed songs, we don't get to do during the parade. It's just too intricate. It wouldn't keep us moving as fast or at all. So we get to do that at the Saturday performance. So it's a great thing to be able to have both. I think that's one of the things in particular for SF that we've put a lot of effort into incorporating movement. I mean, there's movement for everyone, but for us, just again based on the roots of the SF group, that a lot of people came from the dancing world. We've always made sure to look super clean, choreographed. So that's one of the things that I love about this video. I think this has, at the end of it, has a song that we've been playing for a long time. And thanks to the 2016 visit from a group from La Rochelle in France, they taught us a different version of the same song that they did. And it was a great way to bring new life. There you go. Hey. It was a great way to bring new life to a song that we had been playing already for a few years. So yeah, that's their 2018.
I think, yeah, you know, this is sometimes Carnival and the comparsas themselves feel like secret clubs, right? And people either respect and understand what goes on, even if they don't participate in Carnival. But there are folks that are completely oblivious, you know, some not on purpose, others just are living their daily lives. But I think what's beautiful is creating that you all, Batala, and maybe even Carnaval, that we create windows to different worlds, right? And then we access those worlds, and those other worlds also come in connection with us here in San Francisco or the Bay Area. And there's this feeling of interconnectedness. Like you never really feel alone, even if you go to another place somewhere like on the other side of the world. There's something that unifies you with the world. And I think that's what makes an experience like you all in Batala and Batala Mundo very, very unique.
Yeah, it's always kind of crazy to me, honestly, when I hear someone say like, oh my God, I saw you in Carnival and I just felt that I had to join, or I just want to know when your next gig is or whatever. And I think honestly, that's one of the best compliments, that if you remember us amongst 50 something, 60 something contingents, I'm flattered.
Right.
I mean, me personally, I just know like it keeps coming and they keep going, and at some point I'm just like blur. So it all turns into this massive blur. The feeling of Carnival. I mean, that's how I associate Carnival, just like this blur of color and energy. So it's really, really amazing when someone comes to us and they're like, oh my goodness, you know, we saw you in Carnival. That was awesome. We love the energy, or whatever it was. We want to know more. Yeah.
Robert, is this our last video?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and play, and we'll call this an hasta luego. Or ate mais, sorry.
Ate mais.
I speak Portuñol too.
Yeah, so Mardi Gras is also turned into
Lugo, sorry.
Yeah, no, Mardi Gras turned into a funny thing for Batala, because we've been participating at the Oakland Mardi Gras. We have a relationship with MJ from MJ's Brass Poppers, second line group. And you know, it's one of those things that like, oh, we never want to say no, right? So when Carnival started inviting us to perform, we're like, okay, what do we do? So this was a sign actually of success for me, for the band, when we got to the point where we could do these 2 gigs, right? Go back to back from
Oakland, San Francisco on a Tuesday evening.
Yeah, we parade
it's
in
Carnival.
Oakland. Yeah, we parade in Oakland, and then we end up like doing a little jam session. And then the way it's turned out, a few of us, you know, leave a little bit early, run to San Francisco, and then we do that gig, and it's awesome. I mean, we've done a couple of them now, and it's always this like reminder of like, honestly, that's how Carnival should be, like party over here, party over there, party, and let's keep playing.
Exactly. I want to highlight that's always great to play for, as much as it's nice to engage within the band and have share the happiness of your drum mate next to you. And at that moment I was drumming next to Lou, and it's always a joy. And the more drummer we have, the better, but that change depends on the venue that we play and the kind of the event that we play for.
Yeah.
But it's always also very nice to play for an audience of dancers. And that day you were there, Rodrigo, very frontline, really energetic, dancing with us. So it's
I
really
can't
nice
help
memory.
myself.
Yeah.
I can't help
Inspiring.
myself.
And it was funny because when we went into is it Kimbara or Kimbara?
Now it's Kimbara, yeah, Kimbara.
Yeah, Kimbara.
Where it used to be the wonderful little baobab.
Baobab.
Yes.
Yeah, baobab. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Long life.
Yes.
Yeah. And all the love to Marco.
Mm-hmm. We love it.
So it was funny when we came into Kimbara, right? We were already hyped from the Oakland parade.
Nah.
And, you know, it was just like where it was in the evening, that when we went in there, it was kind of tame. You know, people were sitting at their tables, and I was like, oh my God, I'm worried, right? That technically for us was a small configuration of drummers. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do, because these people are going to feel so uncomfortable with these loud drums if they're sitting at their tables. But no, as soon as we started playing, people started standing up and rolling in.
Yeah.
And actually, maybe someone else can comment on this, because this is actually the one thing I love leading the band. I do, and I love feeding off of the band. But I don't usually get to feed off of the audience, because my back's usually to the audience. And my whole focus is the band, making sure that they're good. But maybe someone can comment on that thing, like when you just see folks rolling in and starting to dance.
Amit, Lou. If you're not, I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels absolutely amazing, right? To know that what you're doing has such a good effect on somebody else, and you just see the smiles and the laughter and like the joy on their face, and it seriously, it resonates through me, and then it comes out on my drum. And so it just feels really good to see everybody having a good time.
Lou?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to share one story.
Sure.
To connect a few things. So you know how I said that I usually end up playing epic, but I don't, it's not my preferred instrument. And I think I can count the gigs that I've done on Dobra in the past few years. I usually get to play Dobra when I'm not here. Like when I go participate at someone else's event, then I get to play. But the one time that I do remember was El Valenciano. That must have been 2017?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And oh my God, I put my foot down. I was like, I ain't playing Dobra tonight. I'm gonna know what we need to do. Who needs to lead this? What's happening? But I'm playing Dobra. And it was funny because I was so excited. I was playing next to Fernando, and he looks at me like, what the hell are you doing? This is Mr. Energy, right? Like, this is Mr.
Yeah, I know him.
You know? And I was just so happy. I don't think I've ever played so good in 15 minutes. I was just like, I'm playing this drum.
On that note, you know, playing next to a musical director, like you ask yourself, what the F are you doing? So, but we had fun, but because we're talking about level of energy, there was always one Dobra player that it was really hard to keep up with, and she remained as inspiration for all of us until today. It's Tola Williams, and she is a beast. And I just look at her and said, I give up. You go on. Because playing next to her is really a true testament of your commitment to endurance and love to drumming and dancing. And you as much as you love all of that, you really have to check yourself before you drum next to her. But I know we are wrapping up, and I don't want to do final considerations, but I just want to take advantage of this moment to really appreciate at this time that we're living in the power of community, and giving Carnival being such a platform, educational platform of how strong the Bay Area and how alive the Bay Area is with such diversity of communities, and to get this amazing, colorful, vivid tapestry of different communities coming together for a really celebratory weekend. It's really amazing. It's really to recognize, and it's if it's happening not this year, it's going to be really missed. And I really appreciate you guys taking the initiative of doing something to keep this, even if it's about us living the experience by looking over the memories, right? On that same aspect, I want to thank my amazing Batala community and all the people that have been really working hard from the beginning. The founders, Mick, Deborah, Bell, and Sonia, that have helped really strongly as people come and left to maintain this legacy of amazing people that get together for the love of music and the well-being of one another. So, and all the sacrifices along. Lou has been an amazing active member from the very beginning too, and she's great and a lovely person who always carry for everyone, the members in the band. So just want to put my love over there for community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
I mean that's a wrap.
Okay, let's do our.
Please say something.
Punto
Let's do our
final.
Batala Hey. Batala
yeah.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
You gotta
Yeah.
participate.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ready? Batala.
Hey!
Awesome.
Oh, that was beautiful.